Where are you? And I'm so sorry. My favorite
Black Wakanda 2 song.
Welcome to the second episode where we look at some Blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
This is episode 82 of the podcast. We're getting up to 100. It's going to be there sooner than you know.
Yeah.
4 months.
Oh, man. Dude. Oh, I forgot what we said we were going to do for 100 until just the second.
What did we say?
I'll tell you after, if you don't remember. It has something to do with something we brought up a lot in the first episode. It's a little movie that, does that ring any bells? You know what letter that is?
Wario? Free Willy?
Did you not? It's...
The Nick Cage movie?
No, it's that's half it. That's half the title. What I just gave you. It's got some famous actors in it. Yeah. Oh, it just clicked. It just clicked.
So how you doing today? You got your uniform on?
I do. It's on backwards, but you can still see the logo. So whatever.
You want the hot dog shirt?
Yeah. So we watched 2 movies. We watched
Shaft and Dolomite 2, pretty much. I was surprised at how much Black Dynamite seemed to be influenced by Dolomite specifically.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of Dolomite in there. There's a little bit of Shaft too.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the character's visual design
was Shaft.
Shaft, definitely, and Jack
his one friend was very Dolomite.
But it's only been 2 days since we recorded the last one, but I've actually watched a few movies since then.
I have not.
I watched a new Ghibli movie.
I didn't realize they made a new movie.
Yeah, it's 3D animated.
It was bad, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was by Goro again.
Oh, that's the son, right?
Yeah. And he did From Up on Poppy Hill, which we watched, which I enjoyed. It wasn't great, but it was enjoyable enough.
A little feel-good movie.
He did Tales from the Undersea, which is one of the black sheep of the Ghiblis. But I haven't seen it, so I can't say. But yeah, this movie was really fucking bad. I gave it a 1 out of 10. It was just nothing about it was good. It looked awful for being 3D animated. So then I wanted to watch anime that went into 3D animation that was good, so I rewatched the newer Lupin the Third movie.
Oh, I got the steelbook for that. I've been meaning to watch it.
I love that movie. It's so gorgeous. And the same animation studio did both. But they were just in tandem with other companies. So Ghibli was in tandem with this one. I'm like, how'd you do that? Because the new Lupin looks so fucking good most of the time.
Yeah. I can't speak for the Ghibli style they were going for, but at least with Lupin, it seemed like they were going for something pretty different than I see a lot of 3D anime do. Yeah. At least in sense of not it looks like they were going for more of the Final Fantasy Pixar-ish kind of type of 3D modeling as opposed to what a lot of modern 3D anime will do, where it's meant to look a lot more cell shaded and a lot more like it's supposed to be.
No, there are times where I could totally see faces in the Lupin movie being mistaken for faces from a Pixar movie. That's how good it looks.
Yeah.
But the lighting also looks fantastic most of the time. Everything's key. All the colors and all the lighting in the new one, it's so flat. It's so just everything looks super artificial. It's just so disappointing. And it was only an hour and 20 minutes, but I was bored out of my mind the entire time. Like, nothing happens in the movie.
Damn.
It was super disappointing. But yeah, then I watched the new Lupin again. That was super fun. We watched Hawaiian Ghost Stories yesterday, which is I knew it was going to be really bad because it was there are these guys, I think their name are Brent and Blake Cousins. They're these white guys from Hawaii who made a couple movies. They made, like, the Night Marchers movies. These are all, like, movies that you would know if you were from Hawaii. You're like, oh! But they made this one, and this is the only one that I could find, like, online. Like, this was on Tubi TV. Like, I can't watch the other ones, but it was fucking awful and just terrible. But I got to see, like, places that I've been to, and, like, I got to see random Hawaiian people, like, really trying their hardest and being super bad. But it was like a fun little experience.
Okay.
It was bad, though. It was real bad. And then we just watched The Empty Man, which you saw the last 20 minutes of. I have no idea what are your thoughts on the last 20 minutes? Were you paying attention at all?
I was half paying attention. Like, I kind of started zoning out there towards the end in my shirt because I was cold and playing mobile games. But, I mean, I'm going to say, like, it seemed like it was going for something pretty ambitious. I don't know if the payoff was worth it.
I don't know if it reached all the way. I don't think the ending was, like, amazing. But in general, like, because me and Pierre and sometimes Joe, we watch a lot of, like, meme movies, as in, like, the man movie. So, like, the tall man, slender man, the bye-bye man. Mm-hmm. And this was definitely the best of the bunch. I would say this was a pretty good movie in general. I don't know if it hit, like, it really set its bar high, like, for something it wanted to go for. I don't know if it hit that, but it had some, like, good moments. There were some really good moments in that movie.
I will say I wasn't crazy about the way the film looked at certain points. Like, there's a couple points where I'm like, all right, this looks, like, moody and effective. Like, the skeleton bit there at the end, when he was looking at that, I was like, all right, I get what they're going for here. But then there was that part where he gets attacked, and they kept doing the fucking thing where they're turning the lights off. Yeah, they did in fucking DDoSer. Only it was it was in post, you could tell.
Yeah. They don't do that very much throughout the rest of the movie. Like, that's why I would say that the ending definitely wasn't as strong as the rest of the movie. The movie spent so much time, like, building up this, like, being, and it had this really effective, like, slow burning atmosphere that I think was kind of wasted on the ending. But, like, the mood throughout the movie was really effective, I think. So I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was good, maybe a really good movie, but I do think that the ending's definitely the weakest element of that. But I was very pleasantly surprised. And good thing I bought it, because I rented it, and I'm like, it's renting for $6, so I can buy it for 10. It was one of those things. And I had rented Black Dynamite earlier, and I'm like, God damn it, I should have bought this.
Fair.
So I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I'm like, this is a movie that I might watch, like, in the future. Or at least I'll be happy that I have it. Yeah. I have a bunch of weird movies on Vudu. Like, I was looking, I'm like, I have Lupin the Third. I have The Empty Man. I have Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. It's just like this random assortment of movies.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And that's mostly what I've been up to the last couple days. We just finished playing Power Rangers before we watched that movie. We lost again. That game's really hard. But it's a good game. Yeah.
I went home. I played Rocket League. Yeah. And I watched Shaft and Black Dynamite.
Cool.
That I worked outside of that. Not much really filled up my, I guess, day in between when I last saw you.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We can just jump in today.
Cool. We got questions?
We got some questions. If not, I'll just go get them. Yeah. Question 1. When creating / picking a character in a game, is there any major consideration you follow? For example, I like to pick the most visually unique options, usually ending up non-humanoid choices. I usually don't like playing as men.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Maybe it's just because, like, in a lot of games I play, they're, like, story-driven, and I might have to listen to the protagonist talk a lot. I'm like, I don't want to hear some guy just blah, blah, blah. I'm a man.
Fair.
Or if I do make a character, I tend to make them taller. That's about it. I don't know. I just like, it's funny because like when you're in first person, so in real life, you don't think about how tall you are. Like I don't think about how tall I am most of the time. So when I can make it in a game where I'm 6'8" and I'm just like, I'm so tall, and I'm like running around. I'm like, is that what I look like next to people? I think it's very funny. And then I'm like, I look like a fucking freak in real life.
I have no preference. I go into every new character creation like a blank slate, and I'll just kind of mess around till I find something I like.
Do you tend to make characters look more funny, or like just like an interesting character?
It depends. If I think the game is going to go for something where I just won't care about the narrative or whatever that it's trying to do, I'll go for something funny. But if it's something where I'm like, this seems like it's trying to be somewhat dramatic and serious, I might try to make it a more serious looking character. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. I when I was in high school and like before that, I would always go for funny stuff. But like the last couple times, I feel like I just try to make characters look cool or interesting. Okay, question 2. What is the coolest character from Harry Potter?
Neville
Longbottom is has probably one of the more interesting arcs in Harry Potter.
I just tossed out a random
and
Robert Pattinson.
Cedric Diggory, my son. That's my boy. I honestly don't think most of the characters in Harry Potter are interesting at all.
Probably, honestly, from just what I've seen of him, maybe Snape. Because Alan Rickman.
Yeah, but Snape as a character is just
I never finished his arc.
Oh,
so I can't
it's never. It's he's not the worst, but he is. He is.
Oh,
Hermione, I guess. I don't know.
Hold on, I take back my answer because I thought about who is the coolest character, without a doubt.
Dobby.
Lupin. He's in, the third movie. He's the werewolf guy.
Oh, Lupin. Remus Lupin, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, Sirius Black or Remus Lupin are probably my favorites, I guess. Yeah. They were gay. J.K. Rowling just doesn't know it.
Well, I'm sure she knows it now.
Question 3. Which is the bigger threat? Ghosts or aliens? Ghost aliens. I don't know. Neither of them necessarily are a threat. There could be good aliens, there could be good ghosts.
I don't think ghosts are real.
Yeah.
I think aliens are a possibility, so I guess aliens.
Yeah, I guess I would say the same thing. However, if I were to believe ghosts were real, I guess I would say ghosts. Because, if you think most aliens probably are physical beings, so I can, punch them. I can't really punch a ghost unless I use my Bankai or something.
See, I figure if ghosts do exist, they're probably extremely weak, especially if they were, humans. Now, if they were, spirits, if we're talking about, demons and shit, probably demons would be the bigger threat, the spirit realm in general. But if we're talking just, a one-on-one, I don't know, I feel like a ghost has to put a lot of effort into, moving something very minuscule.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why
you seen the movie Ghost?
Ghost?
With Patrick Swayze?
No.
I remember really liking that movie, but I saw it when I was like...
I've only seen parodies.
13.
I've seen Ghost Mates.
We should rewatch that for our 100th episode.
We should just rewatch every bad movie we've ever watched.
What we should do is, once we hit 100, we should just redo the first 100 episodes.
I'm going to make you suffer one of these days.
Do it.
I will. I've got something in the pocket. Not literally, but metaphorically.
I've been waiting. Just don't make me watch Nazi propaganda.
I won't. It won't be that.
You're gonna have to watch Birth of a Nation.
You might wish, though. You might wish. Probably not, but you might.
No.
Once you see what my next deep dive is going to be.
Well, I don't have to wait. I can wait until April, right? Or I guess the end of March. Because this next one's mine, right? Because you did Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine. Is it Charles Band? Mm-hmm. Is it worse than that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's worse than Charles Band? Can you just... Is it going to be a director or like a series?
It's going to be a series.
It's Child's Play. I'm going to break your neck.
It's not Child's Play. It's way worse.
Is it Evil Bong?
I'm not going to tell you.
Is it Evil Bong?
It's not Evil Bong.
Gingerbread Dead Man?
It's nothing...
Is it something to do with Full Moon?
Not Full Moon Pictures.
Is it The Howling? God damn it. You're gonna rewatch the Howling movies.
I'm gonna show you why I quit.
You're gonna rewatch the Howling movies.
I want you to suffer.
You do that just to make me suffer. Okay. Alright, let's do it. Let's start. Shaft, 1971, I think. Mm-hmm. Soundtrack in this movie is really good.
Yeah. No, it's great. Isaac Hayes does the theme.
And it was just like... It was really weird, because, like, this was... It's just weird going from Dolomite to this, because I'm like, this looks like it was made by people that know how to make things.
It was super weird, because I went from Dolomite to Black Dynamite to this.
Oh!
So... I was just like, oh, okay. But this one, because it's a Blaxploitation film, or at least it's classified as one. So I was expecting it to be like kind of shoddily like filmed.
Yeah,
but no, it was well put.
Yeah,
well made.
Most of the
70s.
time, it looks really nice. At least for the 70s. Mm-hmm. There's some lighting issues. Yeah, like.
There's a lot of just 70s movies in general. Even the really good ones have kind of shitty filmmaking behind it, because it's just like...
Yeah. And it's like a weird transition period.
Yeah. A lot of stuff is just starting to be in color.
I think it happened with like late 90s, early 2000s films
with
too.
Video.
And a lot of like jump to digital. Like there are periods where it's just like, it's kind of rough here.
Because you kind of have to, like, you got to figure out the new rules, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, color existed before the 70s, but it was just kind of starting to hit the mainstream and become more accessible.
But in general, like, I think this movie looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
And even if, like, the camera, like, lighting quality isn't great, it's, like... It's well thought out at the very least.
Yeah, you can.
The camera cuts sturdy. Make sense. The edit looks pretty good. Like
yeah. So competently made.
Yeah, which definitely helped it.
Yeah.
I also think that Richard Roundtree as Shaft is fantastic. He's really really like personable, and Shaft as a character is kind of a dick.
Yeah. But, you know,
he's like kind of one of those like kind of like lovable dicks. Like
yeah, it's kind of like what we talked about with Dolomite, where he's got some like kind of negative traits, like being like a womanizer and shit like that.
Yeah, they really upped the ante in Black Dynamite with that one.
Oh yeah, at least that.
But that whole movie is extremely self-aware.
There are some points where they kind of jump off the deep end with some jokes. Like I think that movie is the only movie to make me like genuinely laugh at what I would consider a racist joke, which I'll get to when we get to it. But yeah, fucking Shaft. Anyway, I think there was a series. It was 3 movies in the 70s and a series.
Okay.
And then they did the Samuel L. Jackson movie in the early 2000s, and then the other Samuel L. Jackson movie.
Where I think there are 3 Shafts.
Yeah. So,
I've heard that newer one's just god-awful. Like,
I never watched it.
I'll probably end up watching all of them. I plan to at least before the end of the month watch the other Dolomite movie.
Yeah.
I want to at least finish this trilogy of Shaft movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to watch Blackula and Blackenstein.
Yeah, I want to watch... I might add those to the list just simply.
And I think there's a Blackula 2.
There probably is. I want to watch Black Caesar just based on the name. I don't know if what that movie's got going on under the hood or
Derville
whatever.
Martin or whatever,
Yeah.
he's in it, I know.
And I want to watch The Human Tornado. Is that what it's called? Dolomite 2?
Yeah. I just keep calling it Dolomite 2.
And then I want to watch probably the sequels to this. And then I want to watch the new movie that's coming out on HBO Max this week with...
the Black Judas and the Messiahs or whatever.
Yeah.
I've heard it's incredible.
Yeah, I really want to watch it. I missed out on the fucking Little Things because I didn't realize it was going that soon. And I was like, ah!
Oh, is it gone?
I think it's gone.
I thought it was for 31 days.
Oh, is it? I thought it was for 2 weeks, but it might have been 31 days. If so, then I totally still have a chance to watch it.
I have it.
I gotta prep for my Jared Leto Joker.
I've heard it's pretty rough.
The Joker or the Little Things?
The Little Things.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about it. I just saw the trailer and I'm like, it looks okay. Looks worth a watch.
Yeah, it looks like it's still on here.
Okay. But yeah.
I'm watching it right now.
So Shaft...
Just sit here watching like 30 minutes of the Little Thing.
So Shaft, we follow a man named Shaft.
John Shaft. Whose brother Jimmy, I think? Or Jimmy is killed? Something like that. Is that his name?
His brother's killed? I thought that was Black Dynamite.
Is that Black Dynamite?
That's Black Dynamite.
What happens in Shaft?
Shaft is where he basically... so he's a cop. He has a couple, like, guys...
I watch these movies like 20 minutes apart. Like, I just started, so...
So, in Shaft, basically some guys come to his office. He tosses one of them out of a window.
That's right.
And then he gets in connection with that guy's boss, who had his daughter kidnapped. He's basically like, Shaft, you're the man I can trust. I can't trust the police.
Why'd you bring people with guns to my office then?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, what the fuck? Don't do that. And he's basically like, I'll give you lots of money. Please find my daughter. And he's clearly faking it. He's hiding information. He's got a corner on Shaft, but Shaft can see right past it. He knows something's up. So Shaft basically kind of does some investigating around, follows a lead that guy had given him, which leads him to this... I don't remember the character's name.
Ben?
Yeah, I think so. He's kind of like the main supporting character, probably.
He's really cool in it.
Yeah, I liked his character.
Ben Buford, yeah.
And he's got like a... he's planning for the revolution. He's got himself like a little army. And then Black Dynamite... Oh, not Black Dynamite. Shaft shows up. God damn it. Shaft shows up. I also watched these movies like back to back with like a half an hour in between. Actually, I watched the first like 20 minutes of Shaft last night and I finished the rest of it up this morning. But, so yeah, basically he finds out, he's like, oh, I know that the Mafia actually took my daughter. And I just wanted to meet you two because you're going to need an army to, actually do this. And he's like, what the fuck, dude? Don't do this shit. Or I'm going to fucking fuck you up. I'll arrest you. I'll do whatever I have to do because you're pissing me off. But anyway, so yeah, so the movie's basically about him just trying to get this kind of scummy guy's daughter back from the mafia. And it's also about kind of maintaining control in Harlem and keeping it away from the mafia.
Like I will say, Blaxploitation movies, they're, at least the ones we've watched, are never just about like, oh, it's a little adventure. Like, there's always undertones of like racial relationships.
Oh, of course.
Like, yeah. Like, and even if it's unintentional, that's just like filming life. That's how it's gonna come across. Like, that's what you're gonna capture.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. But yeah, so he ends up getting the daughter back, and then he tells his one cop friend, kind of. I mean, it seems like they're friends, but there's a questionable part where he holds up a pen. He's like, "You ain't so black." I'm like, that doesn't. Yeah, but then
you ain't so what? And he holds up a cup.
I figured that was just kind of like a response, like, "Yeah, no shit." Yeah, but aside from that, they seem pretty friendly. He's kind of like a higher up that cuts him a lot of slack. Yeah. He's basically like, "All right, I'm supposed to bring you in. Are you home?" He's like, "Hell no." He's like,
and Shaft wasn't. Was he just a private detective, or was he a cop? I couldn't really tell.
I got the impression that he was a cop.
Okay,
but he might have been a private detective because he had a badge. So.
Homemade.
It just says Shaft on it. But yeah, so he ends up saving the daughter. He goes in to try to get her once, and they end up kind of kicking his ass. They're like, "The only reason you're alive is to pass on the message to that piece of shit. And he's got 24 hours to make a deal." So Shaft's like, "All right, I'll pass on the message." And he basically just plots like a more secure way to get the daughter back with like fire hoses through windows and shit.
The climax of the movie was like super entertaining. Yeah. He like jumps through a window. He's like, "I'm Shaft."
Yeah, no, probably the best part of the movie. And then, there's a part, there's some stuff in between, like he cheats on his wife with a white woman.
I would say it's the same problem that Dolomite has. Like the middle chunk, I'm just like, there's a lot of stuff that this isn't really building up the characters in any meaningful way. Yeah. It's not even very entertaining, and it has nothing to do with the main storyline.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt, too.
I don't think it's as big of an issue.
It was
and it
much
doesn't
more
happen as much.
Yeah, no, it was a much more prominent problem than Dolomite, for sure.
I would say, like, Dolomite has, like, 40 minutes of that, and, like, Shaft has maybe, like, 25.
I swear, that one scene in Dolomite where he's just standing in the parking lot, like, in front of that car, and he's just rhyming for, like, 5 minutes straight, and I'm just like, this is cool and all, but what the fuck?
Yeah, that's probably that's fine. I'm fine with that part.
But, yeah, so... Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say on this one. It's super influential.
Yeah.
We still see its ripple effect to this day, I feel. And mad respect.
Yeah, there's a lot to really like here, but there's like you said, 70s movies in general, there's some bad visuals in them. There's not a lot under the surface in this one, I would say. Like, there's some, but, like...
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to understand. I feel like that's one of the big reasons that Shaft was so big, is because it's a super accessible blaxploitation movie.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks like good. Richard Roundtree, like I said, is really good. Really, really good in the role.
Very charismatic. Yeah, it's digestible. It's easy. It's got a simple plot.
I also think that the misogyny in it, it takes a bit to get in there. Like, it doesn't start at the beginning.
Yeah, he has like one line in the beginning where it's like, "What you got?" And he's like, "Laid." But like, then it's kind of dormant for a while, and the intro kind of tricks you because it's like, the only woman who understands him is his wife, and it's like, "Oh, good on you." And then he starts cheating on her. It's like, what is this character? The song lied to me.
That was a good ass song, though. Are there just songs in every blaxploitation movie?
I mean, I think songs? It started with this one because I think I'm
gonna be so disappointed.
I think Dolomite kind of It's
They're like, oh, Shaft did it. We should do it too.
And then everyone's like, 2 movies did it. It's a cliche now. We can all do it. And then
every movie should have a theme song, like a theme song with lyrics. The Maniac Cop had one.
Yeah, I did.
Or Maniac Cop 2. That's why Maniac Cop 2 was
Teenage Mutant
too
Ninja Turtles 2.
Still haven't seen that one.
You need to. One day.
I've seen 3, where he burns the pizza and uses it as a frisbee.
We'll watch the TMNT movies on here soon, I'm sure. Maybe not so soon, but soon enough. We're both TMNT fans.
Yeah. We're just going to rewatch the first one.
I would not be opposed. I don't know.
How long ago did we watch that?
That was the same episode as Ghostmate, so that was like, what, episode 8?
Holy shit.
That was a long time ago.
I feel old.
It was like, what, a year and a half, maybe? Inching towards 2?
Episode 7. Jesus Christ.
Man.
August 26th, 2019.
Inching towards 2.
Jesus.
So,
what else did I want to say about this? I think the climax of the movie is really strong. I like the intro, and there's a lot of really cool quips that Shaft has, and I really like the ending, how abrupt it is. He's like, looks like you're gonna have to deal with it yourself, shitty, and then just hangs up and starts walking away, and the credits are rolling. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's a charismatic movie. It's not my favorite movie, but I enjoyed it. I would say it's got its moments. It's got its faults.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the writing's a little weird on Shaft as a character. They don't really know what they want him to be.
Maybe
at least, I think
out.
it's mostly in the middle chunk. Yeah. He just seems a little out of character in a lot of those scenes, at least from what they're describing in the beginning and the end. And I would say that Ben is a character. We don't really get to know him at all, but him and Shaft are really charismatic together. I really like their scenes together. I just would have liked to see them more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just good movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
You would give this 6?
You too?
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! Black Dynamite!
Dynamite!
So,
I love the theme to this.
I would say that I also thought the middle chunk dragged in this as well, but there were fucking so many moments that I was laughing out loud at this movie.
Yeah, this movie is so fucking funny. It's I personally didn't get. Maybe I would if I were to rewatch it.
Just because I was watching so much. It's. I feel like it's 10 minutes in this one. It's not a lot. It's just
is there? Can you name any specific part that you were feeling oh man?
Not really. It was more just I just felt myself kind of easing back, it's happening again, and then me being never mind, that was fucking funny.
Oh, okay.
I think it was more of a lull, and I think it's more noticeable in more comedic movies, and this movie's really wants to nail the funny aspect of the whole situation.
Yeah.
So I think that if you miss, if you don't have any funny moments for a while, it can feel like it's dragging, even if necessarily the story isn't, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. So God, the guy who plays Black Dynamite, so funny. Whenever he gets
I think it's Michael J. White. It's Jai, but I've seen him in a couple things. He's a great performer.
Whenever he gets that look of panic on his face, holy shit! The scene where he's finding out the kids are getting dealt smack, and he's goes to the orphans, and he's I was an orphan. And he looks the one in the eye.
I was an orphan.
I can't look at these kids.
You you can't do this to orphans. Orphans don't have parents.
And there's that, like, one scene where he's, like, trying to fucking read. He's, like, saying that line, but that one lady, like, finishes it for him. He's like, I don't even have to look. I know it's you.
You fucking bitch.
Yeah, he just goes off on.
Stop laughing.
And then, like, everybody's just like, what?
And then like, the other lady's like,
after, she's just like, I feel like I can trust you.
But it's obviously like her character, she's like, I feel like I can trust you, Black Dynamite. Like, yeah, so disingenuous.
Perfectly portrayed.
There's a scene where, I can't remember who was it, it's one of, like, the side characters, they're doing, like, a fake fight scene, and he slaps the person, and it connects, and they're like, what the fuck? And then it cuts, and I'm pretty sure they replaced that guy with
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, like, great I wasn't expecting all, like, the meta moments of, like, the filmmaking itself.
Yeah, there's a scene where, like, they're kind of making fun of the boom mics and Dolomite, and, like, Black Dynamite's just kind of, like, looking at it as it kind of comes down into the shot. The racist joke I was talking about earlier that caught me off guard. So there's this scene where he's talking about Vietnam, and the entirety of the scene, he refers to them as Chinese. And then at the part that gets me is, like, you know, he's talking about this scenario where he was in Nam and he shot this little kid in, like, the knees. And he was, like, talking about this kid, like, looked into his eyes and said something. And he just, like, goes off and, like, just says, like, the typical, like, it was something like, Chun Chow, I don't know. It's some shit like that. But to me, it spoke to me. And he was asking me a question. And that question was, why Black Dynamite? That part, I don't know what it is. It fucking set me
especially
off,
later on, because he's speaking perfect Vietnamese later when he's talking. I'm like, what are you talking?
And it's like, clearly they're going for something. Like I feel like it was intentional, but I take that scene for what you will, because that one scene that I was talking about is pretty racist, I guess.
Yeah, I think that, like, the ending, like, that it implies that he can just speak perfect Vietnamese when he's talking to the Dr. Wu or whatever his name. I think that retroactively makes the other scene better, because you, like, have this knowledge. You're like, what?
Yeah. But yeah, there's just lots of great moments. I like all the side characters. I like Creamed Corn.
Yeah.
I like that. I can't think of the character's name, but the Dolomite guy. But yeah, this is just basically, it's a similar premise. It's like he's like the one man army type character.
Like, his brother's killed, and it's the U.S. government, and they're putting drugs in the malt liquor, and it makes your dick small.
Yeah,
and then it was Richard Nixon the whole time.
Yeah. Then they fight, and it's just like the guy who they get for Richard Nixon. I forgot that bit, because it's probably been like since I graduated high school since I last watched this movie. Yeah. So when it turned around, it was Richard Nixon. I'm like, oh yeah. They're doing like the spiritual sequel to this.
Yeah, they're doing a Western, right? What's it called?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but part of me wishes that they would just do like Black Dynamite 2 and just do like a trilogy of Black Dynamite movies, but I assume that
they got the animated show of Black
Dynamite.
Animated
show,
and,
yeah. I haven't watched that. I know there's
a comic. I think it's just like a one-off comic. I know we have it because I've seen it. I'm like, hey, look.
Oh, okay.
The Outlaw Johnny Black.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be co-written by Michael J. White again.
Yeah.
So the guy who played, and he's playing Johnny Black again.
I'm sure it'll probably be exactly like Black Dynamite, just in a Western setting, which I'm totally down for. But yeah, so I'm just super excited for that. I can't wait till that comes out.
Yeah, this movie was hilarious. It was a lot better than I was expecting to. I don't know why. I was just like, it's probably just gonna be fun, like a fun little time. But I'm like, this was hilarious. And it is like it works as an homage of Blaxploitation and a parody as well. Like, they're never necessarily making fun of the people that made these movies.
No.
But they're definitely making fun of, like, how technically bad. A lot of them were, like with the boom mic scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
they're definitely playing with the tropes really well. Like,
of course.
The self-awareness of this movie is just, like, really good.
Yeah, I feel like they were able to take, like, all of the best elements from, like, at least the two big Blaxploitation movies I've seen.
Yeah.
And we're able to mix them together very well and create kind of, like, in my opinion, what is the best of that genre, but clearly isn't part of that genre in reality. It's just a parody. But
I don't know, like...
It's kind of like how Shaun of the Dead works. It's like, you gotta create that, like, decent zombie movie underneath the funny movie in order to make it really work.
Well, and I would still say this is a Blaxploitation movie, even if it's a parody, because it still has all those themes present. Mm-hmm. It still has the theme of, yeah, the U.S. government fucking hates black people. Like, that's...
Yeah.
It still has things to say.
I just wasn't sure if it would technically qualify if it's, like, an era thing. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't... Like, maybe if, like, a movie would come out, but, like, in France, but you wouldn't necessarily call it, like, a French New Wave, even if it were, like, paying homage to those movies, because they didn't come out during the New Wave. Like,
I don't think that Blaxploitation necessarily has an expiration date. True. Like, I think it's more about the themes and the
methods.
Technical element. Yeah, the methods that, like, define a Blaxploitation movie, but I definitely want to read more up on the subject. And I know there are a bunch of good resources for that, so. And I'm sure there are some great movies. I've heard Blackula's pretty good, like, actually, so I'm excited.
I've never seen, so.
I saw a list on Letterboxd that was just like, it was like the top, like the 50 best Blaxploitation movies, and it was like curated by like some magazine, so I'm gonna probably try to watch some of those at least. But yeah, like, it's just a grand old time, this movie. It's funny. It's super well acted. Like, it's weird when you think about, like, comedies that are parodies, because it's like, yeah, you can have, like, a person... And they're bad, but they're good, you know? Yeah. Like, it's a really weird line where it's like, well, that person's bad, but it's intentionally bad because they're good. You know? You know what I'm saying. You get it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's really not a whole lot to say about this film outside of just talking about particular funny moments. I mean, other than the stuff we've already just said about it. But, yeah, no, this movie's fucking great.
Yeah. Same thing. It's like, it looks really nice because obviously it's made in 2009, but it also... It nails the aesthetic to a fucking T. Like, Pierre watches me, and he thought it was a movie from the 70s.
Yeah, like, I almost was curious to look up, like, to see if they actually shot it on, like, a similar type of camera or something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, because it looks, like, dead ringer for, like, Blaxploitation movies. Yeah. At least how I've seen them presented in...
I will say that the lighting was better. Like, definitely the lighting's better. I think that's the main dead giveaway.
True.
But like, the music's all bopping in this. I really like
the martial arts fighting is competent to a certain
There's
degree.
Like a montage sequence where it's just going through a bunch of like side stuff, and it's showing the women that have been training with martial arts, and they're walking, and there's like a just mindlessly chopping away.
Nice. Yeah, so... Yeah, this is really good. I love it. It's one of my favorite comedies.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd probably, like... I consider it, like, of a similar tier to The Jerk, because I consider them both to be kind of, like...
Blaxploitation. I'm just kidding.
I mean, no, but, they're both kind of, like, genre parody films that have that basic storyline for the genre underneath, and have like this kind of like similar type of comedy where it's like slapstick, but it's somewhat grounded enough.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you would give this movie a 9. 8?
High 7.
My favorite comedy.
I didn't say it was my favorite comedy. I said I'd consider it of like a similar...
You said this is one of my favorite comedies.
Yeah, one of my favorite comedies.
You just hate movies.
I mean,
You hate having fun.
I don't think having fun warrants a 10. I'm sorry.
Well, it should.
I have a difference of opinion.
Well, you're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, cool. 7.
82 episodes in, we'll finally do it.
We're finally gonna have sex.
You would give this one an 8 out of 10.
I would also give this a 7.
Okay.
I was just like, I was thinking 7 for you the whole time. And you're like, one of my favorites. I'm like, well, it's gotta be at least an 8.
Yeah, I think I gave The Jerk like an 8.
Like 7 or yeah.
Yeah, 7 or an 8. So
okay. Short little episode today, but that's okay. We just recorded one the other day. So I did promise Pierre that he could pick the next episode because
how long is the dragon movie?
So he picked 2 movies for us to watch. Aragon, which I have watched. I watched Aragon September of I watched it 5 months ago, and then I watched it last January as well. So this will be my 3rd time watching it within 13 months. But we're watching Aragon. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's not bad. And it's not the worst thing ever. I think it's on HBO Max, and I think they have like an extended version that I'm probably going to watch. It's like 15 extra minutes, but I'm just interested because I've actually heard it's better. So okay. I'll let you know. Okay. And if you saw me just start laughing randomly during the middle of the episode, it was because I saw what he picked for the second movie. Stuart Little 2.
No!
What?
No! I'm not watching the first one!
You don't have to watch the first one. It's fine.
Okay, good, because I'm not going to go out of my way to watch the first one. I watched it when I was a kid, so I know the gist.
That's fine.
He was a mouse. He was adopted by normal...
He's got a skateboard. Look at him. Look at him go. Well... So yeah, that'll be a great end to February. Aragon and Stuart Little 2.
What a fantastic way to close off Black History Month.
Pierre, why? Promised Pierre. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Alright, well, and then exciting things for March. Cool.
I say we skip the bag episode that we had planned, and we'll do it like we'll roll the dice, but we shouldn't try to shove it in, you know.
We'll see.
We'll see, I guess.
Maybe my director deep dive is actually just going to be like, today we're pulling 5 things from the bag.
Can you imagine if one of those things was half that, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if we've talked about episodes. It on
Ooh, I think we have.
Okay, well, whatever, just in case we haven't.
Alright, well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk to you next time on Screen Rings.